Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Side Projects. In this one, we're keeping it simple. We're just doing a few more archaeology facts because why not? When I make these videos, you guys like them. Just little short, fun things. The Newfound Artifacts in the Judean Desert. The Judean Desert is famous for being an archaeological gold mine with all its caves and the knowledge and the horrors they hide. Archaeologists are still unraveling some of our species' history through the relics that are hidden in these caves. A recent expedition in the Cave of Horrors, a name it earns after 40 skeletons were found inside of it back in the 1960s, well-earned name, revealed 80 Dead Sea Scroll fragments containing biblical texts and a 6,000-year-old mummified child. Grim. And you might be wondering, well, how are those two related? The answer is, we still don't know. Moreover, a little controversy stirred around the naming of the found scroll fragments. Media outlets opted for the name the Dead Sea Scrolls in relation to the scrolls found in the Qumran caves that are near the Dead Sea, while the Israeli Antiquities Authority, the IAA, referred to them as the Biblical Scrolls, since the Cave of Horrors and the Qumran caves aren't actually that close. The same expedition unearthed what is most likely the oldest complete woven basket in the Murabat caves. The basket dates back approximately 10,500 years. These archaeological efforts were all part of the Israeli National Rescue Operation project that was implemented to prevent the looting of artifacts by relic hunters. So you've probably seen a Nicolas Cage movie about that at some point. Archaeologists are not equal to grave diggers. Have you ever thought of archaeologists as essentially glorified grave diggers? Well, I mean, maybe they were in the past, like the Victorian guys going to Egypt and like just digging up mummies. Yeah, I mean, kinda, right? Well, today, of course, they aren't. In fact, archaeologists go through rigorous training just like any other scientific profession. Aside from the tedious hours of digging through old books and publications, and the occasional relic cleaning, archaeologists rely on a multitude of technologies to unveil the secrets of their findings. Some of them are developed specifically for archaeology, while some of them come from other fields of study like botany and geology. Here's a quick rundown of a few of these new technologies. Number one ground-penetrating radar, sort of like an X-ray for surfaces using radar pulses, and it saves excavating time and energy. 2, geochemistry, used to locate ancient human and animal settlements through the detection of certain elements found in feces.
That is one big pile of
3, drones, used to investigate certain sites for collecting aerial images. Studying garbage. The first ever garbology project, yes, that is the correct name for it, was carried out in Tucson, Arizona back in the 1970s. William Rashi, father of garbology, was a professor of anthropology at the University of Arizona when he had the idea of sifting through landfills to better understand society. In his own words, today derives from the past, and if we can see both from the same perspective, if we can plot our ancestors and ourselves on the same trajectory, we may be able to anticipate some of our future. With the help of his students, he was able to disprove the myth that paper degrades easily and quickly in landfills. He was also able to shine a light on consumer behavior better than surveys did. For instance, a questionnaire filled out by individuals about their alcoholic consumption contradicted their actual level of alcohol consumption, which is kind of obvious after analyzing their trash. The oldest pic. If you're a guy, chances are you've drawn a penis at least once during your childhood and teenage years. Or many penises. Was it in Superbad where the guy's addicted to drawing penises?
Like a man. Yeah.
But dick pics have actually been around for thousands of years. The oldest penile graffiti was discovered by a prehistoric archaeologist, Dr. Andreas Valopoulos, on a Greek island called Astypalia. The artwork, carved in Dolomite limestone, dates back to the 5th and 6th centuries BC. Here's the kicker. A racy inscription was found next to one of the dick pics that said, Nicositimos was here mounting Timonia, both of them being male. So much for kiss and tell. Jokes aside, this discovery brought new evidence to the table on some issues and backed up other controversies. It was thought that only philosophers, historians, and scholars were trained in the art of writing and scripture. The graffiti shows that common folk were also capable of such skills, and also that bragging is indeed a part of human culture. The ancient Egyptian Pompeii. Pyramids. Check. Pharaohs, check. One of the greatest ancient civilizations, also check. We would think, with all the unraveled history, the relics, and the artifacts, that Egypt can no longer harbor or reveal anything else, but recently archaeologists did exactly that by uncovering an old city labeled the ancient Egyptian Pompeii. Over 3,400 years old, the city was built during the reign of the 9th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, Amenhotep the Magnificent. The archaeologist leading the excavations, Zahi Hawass, and his team struck gold by accident as their initial initial objective was to look for a mortuary temple built adjacent to the royal tombs near Luxor. What's cool about the discovery of this city is the incredible state of preservation it was in. The walls are still standing up to 3 meters high, apart from some wear and tear, and the house's rooms were filled with daily items and other artifacts. The infrastructure was basically intact, as the excavation team was able to discern the different areas of the city: one large bakery, a cemetery, administrative areas, neighborhoods, etc. Zahi Hawass said one of the mission's expectations is to uncover untouched treasure tombs, and that only further excavations can piece together the history of the Egyptian Pompeii. The second oldest cooking recipes. Imagine this: you open the Food Network channel or your favorite foodie YouTube channel. 10 minutes into your screen time, you're feeling adventurous in the kitchen. At the click of a button, you can have the recipe laid out for you in different formats. But obviously, things weren't as convenient back 1,000 years ago. In fact, recipes were engraved on tablets, and no, not the digital kind. French Assyriologist and gourmet chef Jean Bottero translated a recipe tablet 35 years ago. Preserved in the Yale Babylonian collection for over 50 years, the tablet's over 4,000 years old. Bottero found the recipes to be unexpectedly intricate and delectable. As he went on to tell the LA Times in 1985, "It's a cuisine of striking richness, refinement, sophistication, and artistry, which is surprising from such an early period. Previously, we would not have dared to think a cuisine 4,000 years old was so advanced." So you're probably wondering what's on the tablet. Well, Bottero was only able to decipher 21 meat-based dishes and 4 vegetarian ones. Well, I'd say that's a bloody good effort. He was unsuccessful decoding the rest. Despite his culinary expertise, Bottero did not attempt to recreate the recipes due to the lack of actual instructions and the complexity of some recipes and ingredients. And fun fact, one Yale professor of Assyriology thought the tablets were actually magical texts. That did not deter one food historian from replicating a stew recipe back in 1988 for an American Oriental Society meeting. And in case you're wondering, the oldest cooking recipe is nettle pudding, which sounds horrible. Archaeology and Dog Poop. "Oh, that's hyena poop" is a great punchline to an archaeological poop story. The year was 1981, the setting was a Paleolithic cave in southwestern Iran. Graduate student Melinda Zeder had just licked an unidentified fragment, thinking it was either animal bone or actual stone. Bone sticks to the tongue when you lick it. And archaeologists are weird. The fragment dissolved on her tongue, and then her colleague broke the bad news that it's poo. For those who are wondering what poo has to do with archaeology, well, human feces provide an insight on the type of lifestyle a specific culture was used to. Christina Warner, a molecular archaeologist at Harvard University, and her colleagues developed an AI-based tool that can make the distinction between fossilized human and dog poo, professionally known as coprolites. It turns out that feces, the canine kind, is spread all across the archaeological archives, if you'll excuse the pun. These findings are key to figuring out a pivotal moment, and that's when we domesticated dogs. One of the distasteful revelations is that traces of dog genetic material was found in human feces because humans ate dogs, and traces of human genetic material was found in dog feces because dogs didn't eat people, but they sometimes did eat human poo. Classifying archaeology. You know how there's an umbrella term housing subgenres and subclassifications or something? For instance, rock music is an umbrella that houses punk, soft rock, alternative rock, etc. Well, the same system is applied to archaeology. We know that archaeology is the study of human cultures through retrieval and analysis of the culture's remains. Yet, archaeology discoveries are made almost on a daily basis, which makes it tough to keep a log of everything. Enter archaeology subfields, and there are plenty to a point where there's no way that can all be covered in a quick video. However, it's easier to explain the system of classification. These subfields are created with 2 main ideas: ways of thinking about archaeology and ways of studying archaeology. Scholars agree that prehistoric and historic archaeology are the major disciplines. From these 2 major disciplines stem the rest of the subfields. Each subfield corresponds to a distinct thematic concern, such as civilization, i.e. classical archaeology of the Greeks and Romans, Egyptology and Indology, historicity, the study of fossils, and ethnoarchaeology, aka the study of ethnic groups' ways of living. There's also the time periods, the wars and battlefields, as well as paleontology, like Ross from Friends. That's about dinosaurs. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.